Hello, everyone. This is the Parks Academy, where we discuss and celebrate all things theme parks related. We focus mainly on Disney parks and resorts in both Anaheim and Orlando. My name is Paige.
My name is Steve.
And today we will be continuing our World Showcase series.
I had water in my throat when I said that, so I sounded like a gurgled monster.
That's okay.
But I'm into it. Yes, we are talking about Germany today. That beer and caramel pavilion. I'm kind of excited about this one, I think. I think that there should be some interesting things to talk about. I hope.
I think so. There's a ton of stuff in this pavilion, not attractions.
You think so?
Lots of food, lots of shops.
Okay, so we've had guests every week while we've been doing this, and we are super excited to have our friends Emily and Clayton from Make It Magical podcast. They are joining us for this very special Germany episode. And guys, we are so happy to have you on the show.
Thanks so much for inviting us on the show. We're so happy to be part of the Parks Academy.
Yeah, thank you.
We were saying before I hit record that we've been like kind of buds since the beginning, because we started our podcast around the same month, basically, last year. And so we've been kind of giving each other like tips and bouncing ideas off each other and stuff. And just, you guys have supported our show a lot. We've tried to return the favor as much as possible. I'm really glad to talk to you guys over the show and kick this whole thing off.
All right. So let's start with the question I've been asking all of our guests. Do you guys remember your first trips to World Showcase?
I do. Maybe I should start first. Mine might be a little shorter than your story, Clayton.
Mine,
right?
Mine has some. There's some comedy.
Yours has some layers to it, right?
I'm so excited. I'm so excited to have Clayton on the show. Emily, no offense. I'm just so happy to have Clayton here. You make me laugh every time on your show. You make me laugh because you have something funny to say.
Oh, that's good.
So
I'm glad I'm making someone laugh, though.
It's awesome. I'm into it. So go ahead.
Okay, so I actually did not have my first trip to Disney World until I was, 20 years old. So when I saw World Showcase, it was just jaw-dropping, since it's nothing like I've ever experienced before at Disneyland, just a completely different world. And I remember, because this was actually before Clayton and I had been dating, so it's just a family trip. And we spent the entire day just walking around World Showcase, like enjoying just walking around, trying all the foods. And I was in pure heaven because it's just unlike any other Disney park. So Epcot's always been a huge part of like my love for Disney World. It's so unique. And that's kind of my story and introduction to it. And I've loved it ever since and have wanted to learn more and more about Epcot. So you guys doing this whole series has been incredible because I love learning all the facts.
Yeah, thanks. It's why are you laughing?
Because you just looked like you were so excited that she was excited that we're
I was just actually thinking about how we came up with the idea to do this mini series at the very end of our pod snack series.
I know.
So that's what I was actually
just
kind of
came up
about.
on a whim.
And I was like, how about that?
A good idea.
Yeah, no, here we are. All right. Yeah, that's awesome. Clayton, what's your funny story?
Okay, so mine is less magical than Emily. So my grandparents for a time lived in Florida. So we went to go visit them one time, and we decided, or there was a plan to go to Epcot for like one day to do the whole Epcot, World Showcase experience. And that was the only thing we were doing at Disney World. So we get there and, the World Showcase doesn't open right away. So we had some time to spend in the parks. This is right after Mission Space had come out, and it only had the orange, intense side. So we get on it with everyone, including my two grandparents. And so we get on it. I'll always remember my grandfather because they turn the lights on. You're supposed to hit the switch. He was like, it's like waiting for the exact moment. He was in the Navy, so it made perfect sense. But my poor grandmother, she was so excited to go do the whole World Showcase. She got so sick, she didn't eat anything the rest of the day. So we walked around the World Showcase for like an entire day, and she was just like so miserable. I mean, it was like not like in a bad way, but just like she was so upset because like this one ride ruined the entire trip, practically the whole time we were there. So I guess that's like the only, that was like, and we didn't go back until I went with Emily like 12 years later. So
And you still made me go on the orange side. Of
yeah,
Mission
I was like,
Space.
yeah, it's not that big of a deal. And then I went on and I was like, yeah, I'm never doing this again. So
Why'd you make us do this?
I was
Yeah.
much, much younger when I did it that one time. And I should have known because my dad was on it too. And he also got wiped out. And so we were probably about the same age as when he was on there. It wiped him out. And I was like, that's probably not where I'm going to in my life. And now more and more just can't get on certain rides now. And definitely not that one.
Yeah,
Not
the older
anymore.
you get.
Yeah.
That's less funny, and it just sounds like your grandma had a bad time. But I love
mean,
that.
if you knew she had a bad time, but she was very, let's say, vocal. So that part was the good part about it. Because she's very vocal and she lets you know when let you know when she was upset, let's say. So she's like, it's just the things she was able to rattle off were quite the you can't really utter them on this, but they were pretty funny nonetheless. So
that's funny. I'm thinking about your grandpa like taking it seriously with like an admiral's cap on, and that's funny.
Yeah, everyone else is like just slamming the button as soon as it lit up, and it's like he's like, and now, and then it would light up, and he would like very intently put it in this. He was like 65 years old at this time. I'm like, this is impressive, and everyone else is just like flopping around at the buttons. Please get me off this thing. Get me off this thing.
Paige has never ridden it before, not even green. I've done orange, and it's shocked me when I like had to press my button, and I was like, oh, my arm has some like force against it when I'm trying to lift it. It's really fun. I had to lay down afterward, but it's good.
Yeah, I'm not going to space anytime soon. Let's just say that.
I'd like zero desire to get in a ride where they warn you, like, if you're claustrophobic, you shouldn't ride this, or if you may have a heart condition, you shouldn't ride this. Like,
can they warn you? Like 10 times while you're waiting in line. And the first time when we went, they pretty much do that for any Disney ride. There's a million different disclaimers. So we just kind of brushed it off and didn't even pay attention. We're like, they're probably exaggerating. And oh my goodness, the second we sat down, we saw their barf bags and we knew this was a mistake. Yep.
Yeah, but there's barf bags on the monorail too. So,
yes, but this ride, you know what you're getting into.
Yeah, but that's not Germany. As far as I know, Germans haven't gone to space. So, okay. So this big, beautiful pavilion. So Germany was always going to be accounted for as it was always going to be a world showcase. They're one of the big reasons why when it was kind of being put together and they were planning it out is that there's so much history that comes to mind when you may think of Germany. There are emperors from the year 800. There are famous families, reformations. The Catholic Counter-Reformation of 1545, and so many of these events like really shaped the country and the arts and science of Germany. And then of course, like there's not only just that, but like the culture. So it's been described, of course, as the land of fantasy, folklore, and festivity. And this is great reason considering that there's so many varied cultural contributions like composers, artists, and famous thinkers, who add so much to the culture of Germany. So there's many profound novels and plays that are attributed to great writers, and also one of the things I found really interesting is that so many of the fairy tales that have become associated with Disney are also have their origin from Bavaria, like Hansel and Gretel and the Pied Piper, Little Red Riding Hood, Snow White, and the Seven Dwarves. And so, there's like this almost like a storybook kind of middle age personality that dates so far back, to Germany's history, including 106-mile Black Forest of spruce trees and spring waters and rivers. It really does feel almost like the very early Walt Disney cartoons, which is something that I hadn't really considered when we visited there before, but kind of, peeling back its history, I found that to be kind of interesting and very compelling. And so all of these were really recognized in early Epcot Center Germany World Showcase documents. And, they wanted to make sure that all of these influences were kind of compacted into a microcosm that was essentially the Germany Pavilion. The site plans depicted the pavilion nestled between a stretch of more than 40 miles of canal, a perimeter road, a service road, and the shores of the World Showcase Lagoon Promenade. And then the Federal Republic of Germany Pavilion, current preliminary design concept for the Federal Republic of Germany, was prepared and described, basically saying, guests entering the German Pavilion of the World Showcase will find themselves in a spacious plaza surrounded by ornately decorated buildings representing traditional as well as contemporary German architecture. Inside the building, guests will find themselves in shops selling the finest German goods. So yeah, I mean, it's I guess, I never really felt like Germany was my all-time favorite pavilion. And I think part of it is because it does feel very storybook. And so it's almost like, some of the architecture you would see in like Fantasyland, for instance. But I kind of want to go there again now that I've sort of had that awakening.
Well, and one interesting thing as I was doing some research about this pavilion as well is that because when Epcot was being built and they were working on the concepts, Germany was split into East and West Germany in the 70s and 80s. So the theming, they decided to go with sort of like more overarching German traditions and folklore that both sides of Germany shared instead of making it more modern, because then somebody would have been offended.
What you're saying is there was no Berlin Wall?
Correct.
Because that would have been wild.
Just
We're gonna
down
slip
the
ourselves
middle.
over to East Germany now.
I know.
Just nuts.
That would be quite the experience in a Disney park.
But you have to like climb in, hope the searchlights don't find you.
Yeah,
Slip notes
that's
to the wall to your loved ones.
The German experience. You can pick up a pickaxe. You got to pick yourself a hole in the wall, climb on through.
Oof, there are very few German historical experiences that I want, but certainly the wall is not one of them.
Yeah, I would not think that would be a great time.
You don't think they should add that, Clayton?
I think that's definitely a good idea to maybe go a little bit more historical on it, especially since there's such a big tie to like you mentioned, classic Disney.
Sure.
Movies are very much set from German folklore kind of fairy tales. So
yeah. So one of the things that we know about Germany is that there isn't really much of an attraction there at all. They were actually at a time going to have a sunken courtyard where guests would be able to enjoy a snack and have a view of a boarding area of something called the German Rivers Ride. And so this ride was going to be simulated, like a simulated cruise down Germany's most famous and picturesque rivers. Guests would, ride past intricately detailed miniatures of famous landmarks. They would see miniatures that would basically appear to be full-size scenes from a distance. So really just leaning heavily on that Disney forced perspective stuff. And then in addition to miniatures, the ride was going to feature several life-size tableaus which would appear as animated visions in the sky, and these would basically depict like milestones in German history and culture. The ride was going to debark through an authentic beer garden while guests enjoy food, drink, and music in the most festive of German settings. But of course, this never happened. And it sounds kind of like Small World to me a little bit, except small Germany.
Yeah.
yes,
Oh, did we need another like boat ride?
Heck no. I don't think so. I mean, what do you guys think? I certainly don't think so.
I would never turn down another attraction in the World Showcase, but we could maybe go a different direction. We already have the boat ride in Mexico, Norway. Like maybe we could go with a different direction.
but hey, boat rides were big in the 80s.
They were.
So we usually save this for like kind of later, but like what would you guys add instead? I mean, because obviously there's no rides. We kind of have a blank slate here.
That's a tough question. If we don't want to do an attraction, it would be nice. Not from what I can remember, there isn't any kind of museum area really in Germany. So maybe going more over the culture, or like classical music was a big part of Germany. And there are a lot of composers from there, learning more about them. Do you have any ideas, Clayton?
That might be a good call, like a kind of more of a walkthrough kind of history of Germany thing, because I mean there's it's a very storied English country, from sharing its roots all the way back to Roman times, and there's a lot of history there, so there's definitely a lot to explore from Germany through the ages. And like we were saying, even in the 80s, like there's very large events that have, had world-based reach that have, found their root in Germany. So it's like can definitely be an interesting, kind of way to like explore some of that and have a deeper appreciation for that. I think that's a very important part of what Epcot, the World Showcase, is trying to achieve.
I
I
haven't
think
looked
so
at a
too.
bird's eye view of the Germany Pavilion, but since they were supposed to, like you're talking about, Steven, build that attraction, I remember seeing they had space allotted even further behind Germany. So they could
Yeah.
always expand.
Yeah. I think that I don't know. I mean, yeah, a lot of fairy tales and stuff are there. So they almost I feel like if they wanted to go like a route outside of IP, they could do some really classic, storybook kind of experiences as well, like mixed in with that. But also, I mean, I know that they have like Seven Dwarfs Mine Train and R.I.P. Snow White's Scary Adventure, but they could almost like add something Snow White in there that wouldn't be like overly cheesy, but can maybe fit sort of well, especially like it's a new film coming out that everyone's all stressed out about.
Very stressed.
Yeah, it keeps us up at night, big time.
You're leaving time for an ad break.
No, I wasn't. I was waiting for you to say something while I was looking something up.
We'll put an ad.
Yeah, there you go. Ad right there. Super good. Yeah, Paige, why don't we talk a little bit about like some of the shopping experiences?
Let's do it. So there is so much shopping. When I was doing some research about the shopping, I did not remember there being this many stores, partially because, in most of Epcot, everything's just connected. Like
Mhm.
in each pavilion, you're in a store and then it just turns into another store. So you're not thinking about how many stores there actually are. So these are not in any particular order at all, but there is a teddy bear shop. It, I don't know any German, by the way. I do have a decent amount of German heritage, but we do not have any German
One of
traditions.
one of the running gags on our show is that we never pronounce things correctly. And for
Yep.
me, it's a lot of times like English words I don't pronounce correctly either. So
It's
it makes it
totally
fun, you know?
So this is the teddy bear shop. It's like
The
teddy
teddy bear
bar
shop.
or something. I don't know. Lots of stuffed animals, medieval themed toys, trains, teddy bears, and then the Kid Cot stop in Germany is actually in this store. The next one is the Cuckoo Clock store, which is called Volkskunst. Mm.
Yeah.
They also sell Adidas shoes, which is kind of random. I
It's
know
not.
that those are German, but
Yeah.
it doesn't fit in a Cuckoo Clock store. So
That's a Parks Academy episode, the history of Adidas.
Steven did a deep dive into the history of Adidas.
Yeah.
It's a very interesting history. I know all about it.
Yeah, I would refer
very
to it as
interesting one.
storied and complicated and
Very
terrible at the same
complicated.
time.
It has
Yes.
some connections to stuff we probably don't want to talk about, but yes, it is a very
We've had a
interesting
lot of
story.
Nazi conversations on this show.
Unfortunately.
Because at one point, I don't know if you guys heard this episode, but at one point, for Spaceship Earth, they were
Yes.
going to have like, they were basically going to have a bunch of people, like big figures throughout history, talking and stuff. And one of the people they were going to have speak was Adolf Hitler. And I was like, awesome, great, let's not do that. Basically,
That's a choice.
coupled between like
bold
Mother
strategy.
Teresa and Martin Luther King Jr.
And Gandhi.
And Gandhi, and I was like, no, let's not. But yeah, there's a lot of very terrible Nazi history related with Disney. But
Oof.
yeah, so Adidas would fit right in as it goes.
Yep. So you can buy fancy Adidas shoes at the Cuckoo Clock store in case that suits
Maybe
your
that's
fancy.
why it's weird. It's because it's at a clock store,
Yes,
you know?
that's why it's weird.
Oh, that's why?
100%.
Okay, great.
I mean, if they had a separate apparel store, not weird at all, but Cuckoo Clocks. Cuckoo
Yes,
Clocks
because
Adidas,
there
where's
is
it
a
go?
store that sells like soccer merchandise. So why would we not naturally put it there?
Wait, they do one that sells soccer merchandise?
A German one.
Interesting.
Yes.
I don't.
Well, I think
Yeah.
you can do the same at like Italy. It's like all the European countries, they get a little taste of soccer. Like here,
Right.
you come buy
Mhm.
like a German national team jersey
Mhm.
because
Exactly.
it's almost like going to Germany practically. You know, so.
Right. It is exactly.
Precisely.
So the next one is the soccer store. They sell jerseys, soccer balls, And they also have traditional German outfits, as traditional as you can think of. And they're very expensive.
Like Augustus Gloop kind of stuff.
Like Lederhosen.
Whoa.
Yes.
I'm curious to know
Lederhosen.
how many people actually buy those.
I don't know. Do people buy Lederhosen when they go to Epcot?
Somebody does. I mean,
There has to be.
enough people wear Indiana Jones hats, and I know some people that wear Olaf beanies. So, I'm sure someone does.
Some people just don't get out of the country much. They got to experience it somewhere. So
That's
they
right.
get their Lederhosen in the Germany Pavilion and walk around a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Get themselves a Hefeweizen.
That store was called Das Kaufhaus.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Next one is Steinhaus. They sell beer stuff.
Of course.
Beer steins, beer bottles, koozies, novelty t-shirts, very troubling novelty t-shirts.
Wait, why do you say troubling?
Like,
give me an example. Spit one out at me.
You know the attire when you think of a woman at Oktoberfest? So
yes,
take that and put it on a t-shirt. So like it makes you look like you're a woman at Oktoberfest.
So and like a busty lady in Epcot.
Yep.
Okay.
That'd be
but it's like on a regular
skimpy Lederhosen.
It'd be I mean, I guess a guy could wear it and it'd be like a joke shirt, which it's offensive somewhere. But I don't I think I'd pass on that one personally.
So that's the beer store.
Okay.
Were you going to say something?
I was just going to say I like the clocks.
You like the cuckoo clocks?
Yeah, I was looking at pictures on Google Images, and it's like very Geppetto, even though he's Italian. I think the clocks are kind of fun. It'd be cool to. They would be very.
We watched a overview of Germany to remind ourselves. Yeah. So someone was walking through all of the stores, like, okay, fast forward. We don't need to see every single shirt, but they focused on those cuckoo clocks. Those are pretty snazzy.
Yes, there are so many different sizes. Fancy.
It would completely clash with our mid-century modern Scandinavian minimalist design we have in our house, but we could fit it somewhere, and it would not fit, but it would still look cool. Yeah, little chaotic, Yeah,
that is very chaotic. I would not want to hear the cuckoo clock go off.
No, not for us.
No, thank you.
Okay.
Do you guys have a cuckoo clock? What are your thoughts about cuckoo clocks?
We do not have a cuckoo clock.
We do not partake in the cuckoo
that would
clock.
really clash with our we need to go buy ourselves like adult furniture look that
we're attempting.
So
yeah, it's I don't think it would be for us.
Can't think of a good place to have an annoying clock.
I mean, you got to get your beer stein. You got to get the one glass cabinet, dust everywhere, right? You don't want to morph into your parents just yet, but you want to get the glass cabinet. It's got dust everywhere. It's got like 3 steins in it that you can never touch. You just look at them.
Yep.
And then on top of it, cuckoo clock.
Perfect.
Excellent.
You'll be 65 before you know it. So
my parents always had like this thing that they called the buffet, and it was just like this big wooden, almost like a cabinet, and it had like a display on top, and there was always like teacups and random things on there, and this like stuff. So
yeah, that's where they display the china that they got in their wedding that they haven't used because you can't use it because it'll scratch.
Right.
And then you have to inherit your parents' china. So then you have 3 sets of china. You don't know what to do with it. So that's where it goes into that cabinet, and then the cuckoo clock right on top of it. Perfect.
Oh man.
And parents' then your daughter, or I think right, daughter.
We have a daughter. Yep.
Yeah. Then she'll have she'll have her own set of china, and then it's just a continuous thing.
We don't have china.
The only thing we have is my tea set collection.
But we don't have like our nice plates and stuff.
Nope.
No.
We refused to get china when we got married.
My parents tried pawning off several sets, and we said, we are never going to use these.
Good call.
I want plates I can use, please.
You could have done them like clay pigeons and just sort of target practice with them.
It's terrible.
That'll show them. Give you their hand-me-downs.
Oh, no.
This has nothing to do with Germany.
Does kind of.
Oh, yeah, because of the clocks. Right.
Yes.
Clocks.
Cuckoo clocks go with the china.
Right.
Yeah.
Which we don't have.
That's my favorite children's book.
Well, the next store that I'm going to mention is a fan favorite. It's the Caramel Store. and I'm not going to try to pronounce it because I don't know how to. But they use Werther's caramel in like all the treats. So they are the ones that sell the caramel corn, the caramel apples, cookies, brownies, fudge, cupcakes, anything you could want to have caramel in or on.
Clayton seemed like he had thoughts.
Big thoughts, right?
You know, there might be a question about this later. I don't know, but it's like, oh, what's your favorite thing to eat? It's like I don't even honestly remember the first time I had caramel corn. It's left such an impression on me. We come home with like 2 bags of it, so it's like the greatest thing you can possibly get in Epcot. I bar none. Bag of that caramel corn, salty, sweetie goodness, hot. Ooh,
It's so good.
It's so good.
It is delicious.
Have I had it?
We're going to Epcot 2 days. I'm definitely getting a bag each day,
Gosh.
and then we'll probably get a bag to come home. So
Yes,
I've
and
been
want to
waiting
go.
for this moment.
yeah, it is by bar none the best thing you get. Never.
That's why you're on this episode. Paige, have you had it? Because I don't think
Yes,
I have.
I
Have I had it?
I don't think I've had it with you.
Yeah, I usually skip the food.
You
Like, I
also
don't really-
don't like caramel.
There's only one caramel I like.
The
And I
little
built it.
candies by us.
Yeah, the place that had there's this place in Baltimore called Mouth Party, and they're not a sponsor, but whatever. They have this incredible caramel. It's just like so good. And I bought 2 pieces. We went out for sandwiches the other day, and one of them melted in my pocket. And I just discovered it in the grocery store yesterday when I was out.
Oh, fun times.
Gross.
Yeah, it sucked. But yeah, no, that's great. How long does the bag usually last you?
I mean,
Well, I remember the first time we had it together and it disappeared immediately. We were just sitting on a bench at night eating it. We looked down the bag and we're like, wait, how's it
Yeah.
already gone?
Like
so
darn
good.
Where'd it
squirrels.
go?
Like we're big caramel fans. Not like we get not to sound all like high and mighty, but we get like specialty caramels from like a couple different places. We order them and get them shipped.
Fancy.
Caramel connoisseurs.
I didn't know we were gonna have-
stores.
I didn't know we were gonna
Yeah.
have royalty on our show. Jeez.
Yeah, so not to be, but pinky out when I eat my caramel too. So
That's okay. I'm like that with our olive oil. It's fine.
yeah, everyone's got to have their thing.
Paige gets it.
And yeah, so it's the absolute dream. That's the absolute dream. It's like the best
Nice.
thing. And it's just fun to look at too, because it's like this pool of just like liquid gold, and it's just so delicious. It just cannot wait. We are T-minus what are like 2 weeks?
2 weeks away
2
from
weeks
caramel
away
corn.
from the park.
Oh, so you guys will be there soon, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
so fun.
So jealous. We're not going to be there for like another year, over
Oh
a year.
no.
I know. It's called having kids. We're expecting our second in October, and so we were going to be going in like December, and then
Surprise.
surprise! It wasn't a surprise. We were like,
It was
we're
a
planning
surprise
on
for
it,
the
but
people that we were going with.
yeah, her
Aw.
parents were planning a trip, and they were so excited. We're like, lol, guess what? You're getting another grandkid, baby. Yeah, that'll be fun. I'm jealous you guys are going back.
It's been
Last time we went was 2019.
2019, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, it has been a bit of time since I've been to Disney World, so it'll be fun.
Awesome. Very cool. I wanted to ask while we were still talking about caramel, whether you guys say caramel or caramel, because Clayton, I heard you literally say both of those words in 2
It's funny.
consecutive
It's
sentences.
funny you mentioned this because this was driving me nuts a couple months ago, but it's like burned in my memory because we were on a walk and it was driving me nuts. I was like, how do you say it? And I went and looked it online, and it's like, oh, you can say these 9 different ways and everyone will say it. So Emily says it the opposite way. So
I say caramel.
So I started saying caramel to be the fancy pants
Oh
person
my
and
gosh.
He has to
annoy
go
her,
against me.
basically.
So check
it's
this out.
mostly that.
I grew up in the Bay Area too. I'm from that area, even though I don't live there right now. My family also says caramel. Like it's just, caramel corn, caramel,
Hey.
whatever, caramel covered apples. I just say caramel to be a jerk because it just sounds like it just no one really says it. I just think it's funny. So yeah, I mean that's really funny that you would say that because I'm kind of the same way.
But we all say caramel here.
I know.
And my great grandma actually had a dog named Caramel.
Mhm.
So are you like
I
an
didn't
East
know
Coast
that.
native?
I am. Yep. I'm from
So
Maryland.
maybe that's why, because my parents both grew up, born and raised in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and they lived there till they were about 20-ish.
That'll do
Dad was in the
it.
Navy,
Shout out
and
Pittsburgh.
he was in the Navy and moved out to San Diego, and then I was born out here, so I've only
Okay.
ever lived on the West Coast. But I'm like
And-
all East Coast, bred because that's basically what they knew. So maybe that's why. Maybe that's why I say caramel.
Yeah. Pennsylvania and Maryland have a lot of similarities in the dialect.
And people on
Pop.
the East Coast, they love to tell you you're wrong when you say certain things. And so when Paige and I like started dating, and even to this day, sometimes still, she there's certain things that I'll say and she's like, that's not how you would say it. And then like we go to visit my family and everyone says it the way I say it. And I'm like, it's just the way it is. So we're kind of like mixing up our daughter with saying words differently. Like Paige will tell her to say one thing and I'll tell her to say it the other way. So she's going to be like bilingual kind of, except it'll all be English, just different, affectations. Yeah.
This has turned into marriage counseling, apparently, on the podcast.
Marriage counseling.
And I would like to clarify that I do not tell you you're wrong. I just say it's weird.
Yes, which is
It's different.
yeah. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to put you on blast. It was just kind of more of like an observation.
Like
that,
he pronounces pin and pen the same way.
yeah, it's
And Windy and the name Wendy he pronounces the same way.
you literally just said the same word.
They are definitely separate words.
Yeah.
Separate meanings.
Kind of. I mean, do you guys have any like weird isms, like weird things that you say that people don't find right? I mean, I don't know. You don't have to answer that, but
I mean, if I probably was born and raised and lived in Pittsburgh, yeah, I could rattle off a ton of them because you go back to Pittsburgh, it's like its own different language.
It is.
I had a shirt that we bought that had all the Yinzerisms that are all from Pittsburgh, basically.
yeah.
So, that I can rattle off, and Emily has no idea what I'm talking about. So I have a
No
secret
clue,
language
no
that I
clue.
can, make fun of her in. So maybe I do that every once in a while.
Do you go up to the mountain when you're in Pittsburgh?
No, because normally when I go there, I just my mom lives out about 40
Mhm.
minutes, so we're just hanging out there normally on
Got it.
farmland, but come down every once in a while for stuff in this. We're going back to visit her.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, great, we'll be able to go to a baseball game. Pirates head out of town, of course. So like that ship sailed really quickly, but
Yeah.
it'd be nice to go back.
We were literally just in Pittsburgh last month.
We were.
And so like it's the reason I mentioned the mountain is because being from California, like mountains are mountains. And you can always tell when you see a mountain. And our Uber driver was like, "Oh yeah, you got to go up the mountain. It's amazing. There it is right there." And I'm like, "I don't see it." I like lean over to Paige. I'm like, "I don't see it." And she's like, "It's right there." I'm like,
I was like, it's the hill
I was
in
like,
front of
"Oh,
us.
you mean the hill?"
Hill, yeah.
That?
It's not a mountain, my dear friend. Like, I'm sorry to tell you, but that is not
Yeah.
at all a mountain. Yeah, it's funny. Great ballpark though.
It's a great
Best
German engineered,
ballpark.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
best ballpark.
incredible. It's
I
amazing.
think good second place ballpark.
Paige is an Orioles fan, so she's like very.
I mean,
Yards.
Camden Yards is nice. It's not as good as PNC.
It's the best.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to shops.
hmm
There's just a few more. So there's a wine place. It's called Wine Keller. And they have wine and cheese.
Yeah, I'm not buying wine in Germany when there's Italy and France right around.
Yeah, I don't.
the
That
corner.
seems like
That seems like a crime.
You should
I
just
mean, because the Rhone is kind of technically on the border, so I would assume that there's some German wines that are good on the because that's one of the big wine regions in France.
right.
It's just on the other side of the river. I'm
Mhm.
sure that they can make some good wines, but if you're going to Germany, I don't know why you're not getting a
Yeah,
beer.
why are you getting beer?
I don't know. I don't know why they have its own shop. There's actually beer sold at that shop too, I think. So
Mm.
Okay.
if you want to go to the wine shop, you can buy more beer. Then there's the Christmas corner, of course. Don't know how to pronounce it in German, but it translates to the Christmas corner. And it's Christmas stuff all year round.
Mm.
They also sell the Christmas pickle. Are you guys familiar with the legend of the Christmas pickle?
I am not.
No, I'm
My
not.
mom
we
bought
go.
a Christmas pickle a few years ago. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it's rough.
Okay, we need to hear this.
So it's just the last ornament that families put on the tree, I think, on Christmas Eve, like Christmas night.
Yeah.
And whoever finds the Christmas pickle on the tree in the morning gets an extra gift. So you just buy like a random gift that everyone would love, and whoever
Yeah.
finds the Christmas pickle gets it.
Not into it at all.
But why is it a pickle?
Because that's how Germans do.
I don't
Germans
know.
are big on pickles.
Yeah,
Big on
apparently.
pickles.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that was
Christmas
German.
pretzel.
That's
be
really,
more
that's
Ugh.
actually super racist. I don't think you can say that.
I'm sorry, but pretzels are really big in Germany. You can buy really good
The
pretzels.
Christmas bratwurst. There you go. That's a good
There you
one.
go.
Yeah.
There you
See,
go. It's
that would
pickle
not
shaped.
look so good on a tree.
That would look
Not
terrible
quite.
on a tree. And I don't think they actually put pickles in their tree. I think they're like the one your mom got was like an ornament, like
It
one
is
of those.
ornament.
Yeah, but it's not like a real pickle. I don't think.
Oh, it's the same ones you can buy at the Epcot Pavilion. They're
No,
like
you just take one
those,
out of the jar and put it in the tree. That's what I'm picturing now.
No,
Ew.
it's
Pickle juice just dripping down your leaves.
it's those
disgusting.
like
Yeah, it's like the
Sure.
they're like ceramic. They're like porce. They're like not. They're just like
that
like
was a lot of
metal.
words.
They're like metal, kind of.
Yeah,
Those
I knew what you meant, Paige,
cheap-looking
but
ones.
Steven put that visual in my head.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's no real pickles going on the tree. I would like to clarify.
yeah. Is it the
Pickle
Santa Claus and like the
ornaments.
robe and the hood and everything? Probably. Yeah,
I don't know.
I'm not German, so I don't know.
I have never celebrated my German heritage
Yeah,
at all.
you guys have German heritage because I feel like Clayton kind of.
Yeah, I
excited,
mean,
yeah.
if you my mom, I looked it up. We did the 23andMe thing a couple years ago. I looked it up. It says I'm like 77% German / like Switzerland area.
Okay.
My
Wow.
mom, when she was in her family all German. Her maiden name is Benning, which is a German name. And her family, she's supposed to be like 100% German. So I'm like
Oh,
77% ish or 75 3/4. And then my dad is like a super mix from all
Mhm.
over the place.
Yeah.
mhm.
But yeah, it doesn't mean it's always one of those things where I'm like, oh yeah, I'm like super German, but I know absolutely nothing. Don't speak German.
Yeah.
Don't
That's
really
fair.
do any.
Yeah, you just know
Same
you like the
German.
Germany Pavilion. At
I just know I
Epcot.
like the Germany Pavilion. I like beer. I like pretzels.
See,
not
corn.
likely.
pretzels.
Bratwurst,
Bratwurst.
cuckoo clocks.
Yeah, I
Beer
don't know
steins.
what percentage of German I am because I don't know if there's any on my dad's side. But my mom was a Hitzelberger, so that's
Mm.
about as
Mhm.
German as you could get. But we never celebrated that heritage or had any German traditions at all because my great grandma was from England on my mom's side. So all of our traditions on my mom's side were just British stuff.
Yeah, you had a heyday for the UK Pavilion episode that just came out.
Yes.
That's our second one.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's cool. I don't think, as far as I know, I don't have any German in me. I might have like maybe a smidge or two, but it's not enough to like write home about or
No.
Right, right.
Yeah.
pretend. What about the dining?
Well, there's actually 2 more shops.
Oh.
I know. They're never ending.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
there's the crystal shop
Mhm.
that has all the fine crystal jewelry decor. That's where you can get that $37,000 Cinderella castle. Yeah.
There's like a $70,000 or something crazy Epcot ball.
Yes,
We
I
were
saw that
watching
one.
we were watching the walkthrough,
That
and
was
Em's like, let's get.
impressive.
We're talking about this stuff. Em's like, let's get this for our
Well-
thing, and then
It's not a great sign when the price of it is engraved in glass.
Yeah.
Wow, that is
Yeah.
extra.
And it's
Yeah.
all just because it's made of crystals.
Stupid.
But I guess people buy them. How often do they sell those things?
I don't
don't
know. How does that thing get shipped to you? I'm sure you're not taking that thing on the airplane.
Carry on.
Right.
Carry on. Sorry,
Let me
this is
bring
my $80,000 glass ball, sir.
$70,000 Right.
You're sitting in like coach. What's the other shop? Yeah,
The
crystals.
last
and
one
then-
is that little like separate shop that's the outdoor one, like across from the pavilion almost. And they sell
Oh.
glassware that
Like
you
on the
can have
water
it
side?
engraved. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's the last
Yeah,
shop.
we were watching the walkthrough. I didn't even realize that existed
I
until
didn't
we watched
either.
this walkthrough.
I've passed by
I-
it, but I've never once stopped and looked in it.
Yeah.
Could not have even told you what they sold.
I feel bad because it just doesn't stick my ribs over there.
Like the whole Germany Pavilion.
It just doesn't do anything for me.
I don't know.
What is that?
I think it suffers from the fact that it is literally 90% shops is
Mhm.
probably the
Yeah.
problem. It doesn't have
It's true.
like anything
There's
else
a
that's
big
drawing people
draw
to
to
it.
bring you in,
I
yeah.
think that's probably the biggest issue.
Yeah. But I mean, people love it. like people get crazy for Oktoberfest, and they love to kind of be a part of that whole, I almost like kiss me I'm German thing, but that's I don't know. They like to be a part of that whole German festivity and mentality. So
Which brings me to dining,
yeah, let's do it.
because I think the big attraction in Germany really is the beer garden. So the beer garden, we've never actually been there. Have you guys been there?
We haven't, but we've seen the interior. It
Yeah.
looks like a good time.
Yeah, it does look like a good time.
So I have a feeling Steven would hate it for 2 reasons.
Talk to me.
No.
1, it's a buffet.
Oh gosh.
And 2, there's live polka dancing the entire time you're eating.
Nope. Absolutely not.
And if I know 2 things Steven hates, it's buffets and
Mhm.
dancing while you're eating.
Yeah, I think that's going to be one big old no thank you on my end.
I think
I
it
did-
looks awesome.
Yeah.
We were watching the walkthrough, and I was like, I don't recall ever being in this room. And was like, yeah, it's got a buffet. I was like, oh, okay, makes sense.
We're the same way. We usually will not go to places that are a
Yeah.
buffet. Mainly since we're walking around all day, we don't want to
Yeah.
just have stuff our faces with food. We like to snack around, especially in Epcot.
Yeah, especially in Epcot, the biggest draw
Right.
for us is just to hit every pavilion and get something. I mean, one meal will be bigger, but not to sit down and dally at an all-you-can-eat buffet. It just doesn't
Right.
Right.
enticing.
Yeah, it doesn't sound appealing to us.
Is it like an all you care to enjoy situation?
It is an all you care to
Mhm.
enjoy.
Yeah.
And during
I
COVID,
can't.
they made it family style, like they did with most of the buffets. But I think they brought the buffet back in the end of 2021 or something. So it's been back to buffet for a while.
Cool.
that's just too many people in a buffet to not my
I
Not your
don't
cup of tea.
not my cup of tea. Yeah.
not your pint
Not
of
your
beer.
bowl of soup, as
Um,
my brother would say.
Paige has a funny brother and says stuff like that. Yeah, I don't like buffets because I don't prefer to scoop food after someone has done it before me. And it's not just like with strangers. Like we'll be at like Easter dinner or something with like our family, and I will avoid certain foods because other people have gotten there first. And it's like aunts and uncles and my wife and my in-laws and stuff. And it's no offense. I just can't bring myself to do buffets. And the polka thing, I don't think so. I love an accordion as much as the next guy, but I don't think that that's something that I'm interested in doing.
It's just like Oktoberfest all year round in the beer garden.
It's like Germany Ellen Stardust Diner. I don't want to do it.
Yes.
No.
Or German hoop-de-doo review.
Also, no, thank you. Don't want to do that one.
Yeah, they are open for lunch and dinner,
Mm-hmm.
and it's all you care to enjoy. It has all the traditional German foods you can think of. So sausages, frankfurters, salads, sauerkraut, potatoes, apple strudel, Bavarian cheesecake, all the things.
Yeah. No.
You also sit at communal tables.
Nope.
Like long
Oh, that's
communal
the big
tables.
no-no.
Yeah.
That's a hard fast.
Yodeling, polka music, folk dancing, and lots of beer and wine options.
Yeah. No. You
It's
know
the main
me.
attraction.
You know me. I mean, if I'm gonna have something to drink, I want to sit in a corner by myself, or like makes me sound how was Howard Hughes? A recluse.
Hypochondriac.
No, a recluse. It makes me seem like a recluse, but how did I come up with Howard Hughes and not recluse? But anyway, I don't want to sit at a communal table. But I mean, it would have to be like really late in the day. I'd have to be really tired to pull me into that.
Yeah, I like my space. I'm with you on that one. I like my space. So
However, there is something about being in Disney and being stir crazy that like makes you do things you wouldn't typically do, which is definitely something that I can say that I'm kind of like that sometimes.
That's true.
Yeah.
The only other fact I have about the beer garden is the actual space where the beer garden was supposed to be the entrance for the attraction that was actually never built. So that dining hall area was the start of the attraction. That would have been like the loading area.
Yeah, interesting. What's the other dining, Mayor? Is that
The other dining area is actually within the beer garden, or they're connected, and it's Summerfest. So it's a QSR that has bratwurst, frankenfurters,
So it's just the same
soft
food.
pretzels,
Okay.
and apple strudel.
All right.
And there's a little
Yeah.
window that you pick it up and you take it to go.
Okay. So it's like they only have one restaurant, essentially.
Kind of, yes. You
Wow.
can do the dining, buffet, live
Mhm.
dancing, music, or take it to go if that bothers you.
Sounds like the caramel corn's doing a lot of the heavy lifting there, huh?
Oh, I don't know. Have you ever had a good bratwurst?
Yeah,
I don't
they're pretty
know.
good there.
Yeah, I don't-
Bratwurst, some mustard, some
I don't like
sauerkraut.
them. They're just okay.
Blasphemy.
Not a huge fan. Yeah, that's so weird to me that they have so much shopping and so little entertainment and so little dining.
Yeah, there's not any entertainment. That's the weirdest thing. I mean,
Yeah.
except for the polka, but
Yeah.
yeah, it does. I think it does miss out on one, walk through movie, some kind of something.
Right.
Explore a little bit of the history.
Yeah, to take a little bit more of your time besides just shopping.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So the only other thing they have is that miniature train village, which is just a small outdoor model garden. And it was originally created for the Flower and Garden Festival, but because it was so popular, they just decided to keep it permanently. So
Hmm.
it wasn't even part of the pavilion originally. It just stuck around.
I really I wonder what was going on during that time where they just decided to I don't know if shopping is like an inherently German thing. Like it's their special thing or not, but
I don't think Germans are like the
they don't have
end
the
all be all
corner.
for shopping.
They don't have the corner on shopping. Yeah, it's just weird. I feel like there could be so much more with German culture that you could bring to the table, as it were, without having to just overwhelm people with like shopping for corny t-shirts, cuckoo clocks, and soccer jerseys.
And pretzels, don't forget.
And pretzels and caramel.
And caramel.
And
Caramel.
Caramel.
whatever else they have going
Caramel.
on. So I don't know.
Yeah,
I
there was
mean,
a lot of shopping. It was a 14-minute walkthrough, and we skipped
The video we watched.
Yeah, we
Wow.
skipped 3/4 of it because we saw every store basically.
And a lot of
It's
the
just
stuff inside of them. Yep.
Yeah, I was when I was thinking of Germany, I was like, man, I mean, all the food and all the stuff you can get in it is so delicious. Get
Mhm.
yourself a beer, get yourself a bratwurst, top it off with some caramel corn. Yeah, I always forget about that. All the shopping that's there.
yeah.
I guess it's a good place to get stuck if it's raining because you just
Mhm.
stay in all the
Yeah.
stores and there's
That's
lots
true.
to look
That's
at.
true.
There's a plus side.
That's true. That is true. You can get your lederhosen as the
You
cover up.
sure can. And your Christmas pickle?
And your Christmas pickle and whatever else you're going to do while you're there.
Oh, you can also meet Snow White in the Germany
Oh,
Pavilion.
well, there you go.
Okay.
Yeah,
So there's something to do.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. So this was your number one pick, Germany, right?
mostly because I'm super German in the sense that I share a lot of heritage there and caramel corn,
Yeah, we're hardcore caramel corn fans. Like,
caramel corn.
So is it true then to assume that you really picked this because of the caramel corn?
Yeah, 100%.
oh yes, absolutely.
That's incredible. Good
Love
for you
that.
guys. Because no one else
There's-
really had Germany on their top list.
They
Yeah.
did not.
I mean, there's like the things that I enjoy most in Epcot are caramel corn and this is overselling it a bit, but that one store in Japan, that Japanese pavilion store with it's got all the weird things. I didn't realize that store kept going. There's like a whole candy section in that store.
Oh yeah.
I like
That's
it
where
took-
we
we've
got
been there.
stuck in the rain.
Mhm.
And that's a good place
That
to get
is a
stuck in
good
the rain.
spot.
Like
It
those are my
was.
best things to do. But caramel corn, whatever corn. It's just I love a good bratwurst. I love a good beer, and I do like kind of the aesthetic of Germany. But yeah, looking back at it after we watched the walkthrough to get
Like,
prepared
yeah, I
for this,
guess
I was
there's
like,
really anything to do
wow,
here.
there's actually not really much to do with Germany.
It's a nice place to stop and get what you want to eat and keep moving.
Yeah.
Poor Germans. Well, I mean, I'm glad you guys jumped on it because we've had, one of the things that I think has been really nice about like encouraging people to pick their top three was that, I want people to come on who are excited about the pavilion they choose, and it would really be difficult if you guys had nothing to say about it, and I just had to ramble and pretend like I knew what was going on. Because truly, this feels like the pavilion I have the least amount of association with.
I think I probably spent the least amount of time in this pavilion of all of them.
Yeah, I think it. I think it
It's
definitely just
understandable.
struggles now that we've talked about it. Some of not having something because like Mexico has
Well,
something.
yeah, when you're comparing it to everything
Yeah.
else that the World Showcase has to offer.
Yeah.
Well,
It
our
definitely
first
just really, what does Italy have? Because Italy's right next to Germany, right? And I'm
Don't
trying
they
to
have
think
some
of
entertainment in Italy?
they have some show, I guess.
Yeah.
I guess this is what the polka is supposed to achieve, but I just don't think it's drawing in.
We haven't hit that episode yet. I mean, the thing with Italy though is they have that beautiful courtyard. And they have really good wine and like champagne and really nice little shops and stuff. I feel like the food in Italy is definitely they have good pizza there. Like I feel like the food in Italy and the shops kind of balance each other out. So, while I can't think of like one big attraction that would pull you in to Italy per se, but they do have that big clock tower and that beautiful courtyard where a lot of people just sit and hang out. And I just don't think I don't really. We've spent a lot of time in Italy, and it's been great. But I just don't think that we've. I can't really say the same for Germany. I don't
Well,
know.
we usually get drinks in Italy and just sit in the courtyard for like 30 minutes.
Yeah, right.
We don't usually find a space to sit in Germany.
No, I feel bad because people are going to be like, I don't want to go to Germany now.
Germany is great.
Oh no, what are you talking about? We're talking it up. Get the caramel corn.
Go enjoy some caramel corn.
Exactly. Okay.
I mean, there's always a line for that caramel, so it's got to be
guaranteed.
Good. There's always a line.
Okay.
Every time.
So since I have you guys here and we have your attention, I gotta ask. I know that there's a lot of like drama with Clayton and Dole Whip. Can you guys talk about that a little bit, please?
Oh no. Clayton, were you prepared to talk about this today?
I told you I was going to get you.
Our listeners can't see, but Clayton almost just fell out of his chair.
It's true.
So me and Emily, or Emily and I, and then Johnny from the DMSW podcast, we were like, oh, let's do a unpopular opinion. But then I had to ask Emily, I'm like, what are my unpopular opinions?
Yeah, he couldn't think of any, so I had to come up with his list for him.
She had to come up with my list. So technically this is her opinion, but
it's my opinion. I just know what you do and do not like.
I like a nice, okay, you're talking about you don't like caramel. So when it comes to frozen dessert, and Dole Whip, it tastes delicious. It's too not frozen for it's too melty, basically. Okay. There's no drama. It's not firm enough for a frozen dessert.
Okay.
I like a little bit of texture in my frozen dessert. That's why I like a nice mint chocolate chip ice cream with, big chocolate chips in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's also just frozen and I can like bite into it. I don't have to just slurp it. So, it's so funny because this thing has the biggest amount of legs for like a thing that has happened. I don't even know how many episodes ago it was. Mm-hmm. It's got so much legs. It's like the Dole Whip guy. I'm just it said something
you're
so
the
blasphemous.
Anti-Dole Whip guy.
No, you're not even. Like Emily will post stories of you and I'll say Dole Whip Daddy on it, and I just can't. I can't get over how funny that is. Every time I see it, I can't believe it.
The joke that will never die.
It's got legs. It's impressive how well it's lasted, because that episode I think we released last year at this point, or maybe it was earlier this year. It's a blur, and it's just I don't even know how it's continued. It's just not. It's too melted. It's just too melted, especially in Florida.
Yeah,
like it's warm enough in California. When we got it, it was cool at least, so it didn't melt right away, but. You get that thing in Florida, how are you supposed to enjoy it? It's like already a puddle by the time they've handed it to you.
Okay, so have you had the Dole Whip from like the grocery store? Like it's been going around.
That we actually have.
That is perfectly frozen, almost too frozen in my opinion.
Yeah, well, it says leave it out for 5 minutes or whatever. So I was immediately trying to dig into it, which is you can't get. There's nothing you can get into it for the first couple minutes. So. But yeah, it's nice because there's a great point where, yes, it's just good enough where you can get into it, but still frozen enough. I don't know. I don't know how people like to eat their ice cream. I kind of like to chew my ice cream. I don't know if that makes me weird.
You like to bite into it like an apple.
I like to bite into it.
Sure.
Do I get an ice cream cone? I get an ice cream cone, big scoop ice cream cone. I'm not like just, not to be, making very interesting gestures on camera, but I like to bite into it. I'm not just like, licking it. I like to bite into my ice cream cone.
Yeah. Well, fortunately
And,
for you, this isn't a video episode, so you're good.
And I cannot do that with a Dole Whip. I mean, it's just not, and that's why I don't like Dole Whip. So
don't
it's not
care.
that I don't like Dole Whip. I just melted.
I don't care. I'm not judging you. I just wanted to bring it up because I felt we have an audience that may not be familiar with your show, and I'm like, that has to be the first thing they know. I'm that way with like starting in Canada. I get flack for this all the time, but I like to start in Canada and not Mexico. So, that's my unforgivable.
Is that
sin.
a thing?
That is a thing.
Oh, really? That's the thing.
Yeah,
that's
everyone
a big thing.
makes a big deal out. You have to start in Mexico.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I said this on another episode. But one of our listeners actually wrote to me and he's like, my wife is really mad at you for saying that. And I was like, well, sorry.
My opinion.
Don't follow me into Epcot then, because you know where I'm going. I want to go see Martin Short for a second. Yeah, that's funny.
That's wild. I don't even know that. Yeah.
Paige, what are
I'm not really in tune with some of the Disney popular trends, I guess you could say.
Sure. That's fair. Paige, what are some of the other questions that you typically have in this case?
One of them is, do you guys have any specific memories from the German Pavilion?
I mean, we've talked about caramel corn a lot.
I think we've covered the major.
That was like
memory for us.
eye-opening, life-changing moment for us when the Germany Pavilion. So
great.
It was life-changing. Biting that popcorn, we're like, I've never had popcorn this good before.
It's so good.
So good.
It's so delicious.
I'm gonna have to get it.
Because it's so fresh. I mean, after a while, it starts to like harden, and it's not as. I mean, it's still good, but it's not like
you should eat it fresh.
When you eat it fresh, it's hot. It comes out of the bag. It's hot.
Sticks to your teeth and all that.
It's just it's
so
like
good.
sticking to your hands, but
Paige,
it's so
you need to
good.
make Steven
it's
try
salty.
it.
It's
I will.
sweet.
So I do like caramel corn, but it's not something that I seek.
You
right.
like good
That's fair.
Amish kettle corn also.
Okay, so we live about an hour south of Hershey Park. We're actually going tomorrow night. And they have some Amish folk that make kettle corn, and that stuff is really good.
Just as you're leaving the park or as you're walking in the park, you just stop by the little Amish boys and they are making some fresh kettle corn.
Yep.
You just take it with you in a ginormous bag.
And
it's great.
Bob's your uncle. There you go. Kettle corn from the Amish. La la la. Yeah. So is there anything, we already kind of talked about like IP, but is there anything that you guys would like add or take away from Germany?
I mean, I think it needs like a show somehow.
Yeah, which
so
we
I think,
kind of talked about. I think they don't definitely don't add any more shops. That's for sure.
No more shops.
Add on either some kind of attraction, whether it's an exhibit, a museum, or add in an actual ride. Maybe not a boat ride, but I think something to actually draw people in and keep them there for a longer amount of time. Because I also forgot upon rewatching and seeing a walkthrough of the Germany Pavilion, there really isn't many places to stand when you're not in a shop. There isn't a whole lot to look at.
Yeah, I think that's why when we were just talking about like we just chill in Italy with a drink, there's not really a place to just chill in Germany. Like there's the statue in the middle of the plaza, but then it's like, okay, go find a seat over at the tables, I guess, to go eat your bratwurst. I don't know. There's not like a place to hang out.
Yeah, there really isn't.
Part of Muppets Most Wanted was filmed in Germany, quote. The movie with Ricky Gervais and Ty Burrell and Tina Fey from 2014, that hit film. Add that, little Muppets in Germany.
Perfect.
You know? Like,
why not?
Gonzo loses his nose and replaces it with a bratwurst or something. Like, there's so many different options of things you could do with that.
Or a Christmas pickle.
Or a Christmas pickle. La 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 la. What does that have to do with the Muppets? Oh, he would replace his nose with the Christmas pickle. I see. Sure.
He would go to the Christmas shop.
Yeah, sure.
Christmas pickle as his nose.
Miss Piggy and Lederhosen? Come on.
It writes itself.
That's pretty
Disney
good.
Imagineering, hit me up.
Yeah.
It writes itself.
We got the ideas.
They could do like Benson Honeydew and Beaker doing like some science stuff with like German engineering. Like they could make making Volkswagens. Stuff like that.
Or Adidas.
That's all I got.
but build a BMW, German
Yeah.
engineering.
Right. Okay, so we usually like to kind of wrap things up by asking our guests, if you have Disney Plus, what are your current Disney Plus icons or avatars?
Ooh, I am the Cheshire Cat currently.
Okay.
That is one of my favorite Disney characters.
Oh,
Our daughter loves
mine's
Alice.
easy. Yeah, mine's easy because mine's Sully.
Okay.
As the one's easy. Last name Sully writes itself. We just watch everything on Emily's account, so it doesn't really matter. So I don't even know why I have my own profile.
So you can have your own algorithm. That's why. That's cool.
Yeah. I like to just go mess with Emily's stuff.
Yeah, sure.
You should see what our
Lucky me.
combined list is. It's just it's weird.
I have I get that. I have Spotify that I listen to for myself, and then anytime my daughter wants music, I play it on Apple Music. So I'm not hearing like the Frozen soundtrack and all of her music on a regular basis. Well, cool. Well, this has been a lot of fun, guys. Before we wrap this up, I just wanted to ask: is there anything that you want to plug or talk about while we have you on here?
I guess the main thing, if your listeners are interested, come check out our podcast where we pretty much talk about anything Disney related. We do a lot of parks talk. We are Disneylanders, but we will, as we continue, expand our knowledge on Disney World. We talk about the movies, pretty much anything, you name it.
And we are finishing up our Building Disneyland series, 11-parter. We just aired part 10. I think we're going to go.
No, 12-parter.
12-parter, excuse me. See, that I don't even know. We started it 20-some episodes ago, and it's almost still kicking.
Mm-hmm.
But that's been a lot of fun. So that's almost there. We just did opening day. So if you want to relive the building of Disneyland, I would suggest that series. It's been a lot of fun to record that one.
Yeah, it's really good. I love that one. Listening to it every week. It's been a lot of fun.
And where can people find your podcast or on social media?
So we're mainly active on Instagram. You can find us at Make It Magical Pod, and we pretty much are available on all streaming services. So we are Make It Magical.
Make It Magical.
Awesome. Well, we will be sure to link up all of your stuff in show notes so people will know where to find you and get your information and check out your show. We definitely encourage you to do so. Emily, Clayton, this has been so much fun. I'm really glad to finally have you guys on here. And we're out in California every once in a while because I have family out there. So maybe one of these times we'll link up with you guys in person. That'd be cool. Again, thank you so much to our listeners for always coming along with us every week. We do appreciate you guys a lot. Find us online at theparksacademypod.com as well as the Parks Academy on Instagram. We would also appreciate a kind review and rating if you feel so inclined to do so. It really is appreciated, and it means a lot to us when you guys do that. Thank you also to our absolutely outstanding sponsors of the show, Deep Cut and Neo Sabers. You guys can get 10% off your first order from those two incredible companies using the code TPA10 at checkout. That's also in the show notes. We are going to be, where are we going to be next week, Paige? Where are we going next week? What's after Germany? Where are we going? What are we doing? I need a picture of the map. Help me out. What's next? What's after Germany? Is it Italy?
Is Italy before or after Germany?
I don't know. Hang on. This is like a terrible ending. Epcot World Showcase map. I should really trim this down, but I'm not going to.
We're going to China.
We're going to China. And we don't have a guest lined up for that one yet.
Nope, we don't.
Yeah, we'll figure it out. All right, so we will be doing China next week. And again, thank you guys so much. And we will catch you next time in China.